You see, last Saturday I was at a wedding reception in Aura. The mother of the bride introduced me to some of her sons, including a young man named Eric Schwartz. Now, Eric has already done a tour of duty in Afghanistan. He's currently stationed in Iraq. Somehow, this fine young man finagled a few days' leave and at his own expense traveled all the way to Skainee so he could see his little sister get married. Well, like I usually do, I shook his hand. I told him thank you. I told him that I really appreciated what he was doing, that it was important. And like all the other veterans before him, he thanked me profusely. And it occurred to me, ladies and gentlemen, suddenly I figured out what was wrong. Why was he thanking me? I didn't do anything. All I did was make a simple show of support and gratitude for a man who was risking his life for his country, for my country. He's the one toiling in the heat and the sand of a foreign land. He's the one who's over there confronting the most evil, vicious enemy this nation's ever had. He's the one who's putting his life on the line every single day so that a whole nation of people can have hope and freedom, something they haven't had for many, many generations. So I asked him about that. What are you thanking me for? He said, Joseph, you don't understand. When we get a show of support, we are very grateful. We don't get enough of that. The people over here in America, they don't know what's going on. All the news wants to talk about are the bad things. All that's ever published or broadcast is when something goes wrong. They don't tell you about the good things we're doing. They don't tell you about the successes we're having, even though they're happening all the time. They just want to talk about the bad. And you know, that really got to me, that this excellent young man was feeling that way. And so I was casting about for a way to put it into words and talk to you about it when I came across an article written by another excellent young soldier. It was published in the Post-Chronicle last October as an editorial. It's written by young Edmund John Jeffers, Sergeant Jeffers. Eddie to his family. Eddie's only 22 years old, but the words he wrote moved me so deeply, I really want to share them with you, at least some of them. This is what he wrote. I stare out into the darkness from my post, and I watch the city burn to the ground. I smell the familiar smells. I walk through the familiar rubble, and I look at the frightened faces that watch me pass down the streets of their neighborhoods. My nerves hardly rest. My hands are steady on a device that has been given to me from my government for the purpose of taking the lives of others. I sweat and I am tired. My back aches from the loads I carry. Young American boys look to me to direct them in a manner that will someday allow them to see their families again. And yet, I too am just a boy. My age not but a few years more than that of the ones I lead. I am stressed, I am scared, and I am paranoid because death is everywhere. It waits for me. It calls to me from around street corners and windows, and it is always there. There are the demons that follow me and tempt me into thoughts and actions that are not my own, but that are necessary for survival. I've made compromises with my humanity, and I am not alone in this. Miles from me are my brethren in this world who walk in the same streets, who feel the same things, whether they admit to it or not. And to think, I volunteered for this. And I am ignorant to the rest of the world, or so I thought. But even thousands of miles away in Ramadi, Iraq, the cries and screams and complaints of the ungrateful reach me. In a year, I will be thrust back into society from a life and mentality that doesn't fit your average man. And then, I will be alone. And then I will walk down the streets of America and see the yellow ribbon stickers on the cars of the same people who compare our president to Hitler. They don't realize, in this war there are no Geneva Conventions, no ceasefires. Medics and chaplains are not spared from the enemy's brutality because it's against the rules. The enemy slinks in the shadows and fights a coward's war against us. It is effective, though, as many men and women have died since the start of this war, and the memory of their service to America is tainted by the inconsiderate remarks on our nation's news outlets. Terrorists cut the heads off of American citizens on the internet, and there is no outrage. But an American soldier kills an Iraqi in the midst of battle, there are investigations. And sometimes soldiers are even jailed for doing their job. It is absolutely sickening to me to think that our country has come to this. Why are we so obsessed with the bad news? Why will people stop at nothing to be against this war, no matter how much evidence of the good we've done is thrown in their face? When is the last time CNN or MSNBC or CBS reported the opening of schools and hospitals in Iraq? Or the leaders of terror cells being detained or killed? It's all happening. But America has lost its will to fight. It has lost its will to defend what is right and just in the world. The crazy thing of it all is that the American people have not even been asked to sacrifice a single thing. It's not like World War II, where people rationed food and turned in cars to be made into metal for tanks. The American people have not been asked to sacrifice anything. Unless you are in the military or the family member of a service member, it's life as usual. The war doesn't affect you. But it affects us. We are the hope of the Iraqi people. They want what everyone else wants in life: safety, security, somewhere to call home. They want a country that is safe to raise their children in, not a place where their children will be abducted, raped, and murdered if they do not comply with the terrorist demands. They want to live on, rebuild, and prosper, and America has given them the opportunity, but only if we stay true to the cause and see it to its end. But the country must unite in this endeavor. We cannot place the burden on our military alone. We must all stand up and fight, whether in uniform or not. And supporting us is more than sticking yellow ribbon stickers on your cars. It's supporting our president, our troops, and our cause. Right now, the burden is all on the American soldiers. Right now, hope rides alone. That gets to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's a crime. No, worse than that, it's a sin. That magnificent young American soldiers like Eddie Jeffers, like Eric Schwartz, are feeling so frustrated, so isolated, so forgotten. It has to change. I can almost feel the ground moving as the veterans we're here to honor are turning over in their graves. And you see, there's been another name added to the honor roll of the dead you're going to hear in a minute. The name of a young man who will never know that most of his country does support him, that most of his country does support his cause and his comrades. You see, Eddie Jeffers was killed in action in Iraq on September 19, 2007. It's too late to let Eddie know. It's too late to let him know that the American news media does not speak for the American people. But it's not too late for Eric Schwartz. It's not too late for his tens of thousands of comrades in arms that are in harm's way. Ladies and gentlemen, we remember those of us that are here today, and I think we owe it to them to always remember. And we owe it to them, all veterans, living and dead, to remind those who have forgotten, to remind them that hope never rides alone. Thank you.